Hey everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. I am back to do my post-market wrap-up for today, Wednesday, November 15, 2017. I couldn't wait to do this video all day. Like I said earlier in my first video today, I have a lot of stuff I want to cover here. Let's start off with the stock market before I talk about the bond market. In the video that I did earlier today, I had said the stock market was down around 130 points or so. We kind of ended about the same place where we started today, but in the middle was a wild ride. Again, in the video I did earlier today, I said that the stock market was down, referring to the Dow Jones Industrial Average, about 130 points. We dropped after I did that video to about 150, 160 points down. Then, all of a sudden, what did we get? Buy orders. Buy. Especially the small caps. Just like I said would happen in the video that I did earlier today. Started getting bought up. The Dow Jones Industrial Average cut its losses in half at one point. And then all of a sudden, a sell-off again. Now, look at this behind me. I'm going to duck down. This is the bond market action that we saw today. This pattern, you can see this pattern right now on the chart that is sitting on my website, traderschoice.net. At the open, we had this huge amount of buying. Someone brought this up earlier that there was some bond buying in the overnight markets. Of course there was, in the futures markets. Okay, so there you go. And then at the open, we saw this big spike like this. A lot of buying happened. This is across the spectrum of bonds. Again, the chart on my website is the total bond market, not just one aspect of it, the whole bond market, except for one aspect of it, which we're going to talk about, which someone else brought up, and I want to talk about that too. So again, you get this big spike. Then we had a sell-off midday, and then some entity out there, you know who it is, bought all the way up to the end of the day. They kept buying across the spectrum, except for one segment, and that is the junk bond market. Look, even the mainstream is starting to talk about the junk bond market. Let's define what we're talking about here. The junk. What is a junk bond? Or how about this? They hate using junk, but it's the high yield. High yield. What are we talking about? First of all, junk bonds and high yield bonds are one and the same. They mean the same thing. You got it? So don't get confused there. When some person is talking about high yield bonds or junk bonds, they're referring to the same thing, and they're referring to bonds that have a less than stellar credit rating. So there's more risk. Okay, that's it. That's all you need to know, basically. Junk bonds have more risk. High yield bonds have more risk. They are the same thing. So, today, on the mainstream channels, there's a lot of people out there today, to CNBC's credit, talking about this sell-off here with regard to junk bonds and what it means for the market. Well, let me put an easy perspective on this for you so you can understand this, because they don't explain anything to you. When you see the appetite or investors' appetite for wanting to hold high-yield bonds drop off like we're seeing now, it basically means that their risk appetite is falling in the environment we're currently in. You understand? So investors who like these high yield bonds are saying, hey, hold on a second, there's something going on here, so maybe we really don't want to hold these things, these less than stellar credit rated bonds, so they're dumping them. At the same time that is happening, okay, some entity out here, you know who I think it is, and I believe you agree. This is the Federal Reserve, other central banks, big Wall Street banks are buying up credit-worthy bonds. Okay, that's what's being reflected in the chart on my website for those of you that need a little clarification, and I can understand that. So that's what you're looking at here. Some entity is doing whatever they can to prop up the bond market. Now, like I said earlier, pay attention to this stuff. It's so important. If this were a real safety play, it's very, well, let me put a perspective on that. The sell-off that we're seeing here in the stock market is it's impressive, okay? Not overly impressive. I mean, it's not like, oh my God, this is the beginning of the end here. Although I'm not going to go off on a tangent with this, Bill Gross, the bond king himself, today said this is the top of the stock market. I don't think I am any smarter than Bill Gross. In fact, I know that I am not smarter than Bill Gross. Bill, if you're watching this, okay, I'm not convinced this is the absolute top of this market because we know what's going to happen here. I am not saying that this market isn't going to drop further. It very well might, referring to the stock market, and is gauging from the effort that they are putting in to play with the bond market like this, okay? There's a lot of fear here with regard to those that are playing the bond market. I don't mean real investors. I'm talking about those that are using this as a tool to manipulate the rest of the market, and you know who they are. So, referring back to Bill Gross real quick, I think he kind of surprised. He was on CNBC, and this was him on CNBC today talking about this, and they were kind of shocked. Oh, you're calling a market top here? He's calling a market top here. Greg Mannarino, I'm not convinced it's a market top as just yet. So anyway, just going back to the safety play thing, metals finished lower today, despite the dollar being under pressure. This is manipulated. It's being faked as well. Okay, we understand that. But before I run off on a tangent, I know this is getting kind of convoluted. Let me try to get back a little bit on track. So we have seen some incredibly, I don't know another word for it, suspicious action here in the bond market right at the open for the past 3 days. A huge amount of buying, stabilizing that bond market in the hopes that the stock market will not sell off. They really tried hard to do this today. They even tried buying up the small caps, like I said would happen. Didn't work. It didn't work. So maybe Bill Gross is right. Maybe this is the market top. I don't know. I'm not saying that at this particular time. I'm not convinced yet. When I think we're really at a market top, I'll let you know. This might be the market top. Like I said, I am absolutely no smarter than Bill Gross. This guy's a multi-billionaire hedge fund manager. So he's an impressive guy, no doubt about it. But we do need to keep an eye on this bond market, people, and I cannot stress that enough. And you can watch this and laugh like I do. I go, oh my, look what they're doing. I'm sitting there just like you, watching it right on my website. I'm sitting there going, look what they're doing. Look at what they're doing. Okay, it's selling off. Let's wait for a turnaround, and bam, there you go. More buying. Buy. Really, think about it. Think about the insanity here. All right, some entity or entities, a group of these things, people, institutions, banks are colluding to buy up bonds in this environment where we have high yield selling off like crazy, where we have a Federal Reserve who's promising to raise rates, but people are buying bonds here? It makes no sense to me whatsoever, and it shouldn't to you either. Tomorrow, I can promise you, is going to be very interesting. Let's see what they do here with regard to the bond market. Is there going to be another surge of buying at the open? I have no idea, but it's going to be interesting to see. I can promise you that. And let's see what they try to do here with the stock market. Watch those small caps. Again, ticker IWM. First page of my website at the very bottom. There is a chart there. You can change the ticker. Put the ticker IWM in there. This is the small cap index. This is the one they hit first when they're trying to push the stock market back up. They always hit the small caps first. So watch the small caps, ticker IWM. throughout the day. So interesting. This whole thing, you have to admit, is it's incredible to watch, I have to tell you. And we're going to see how this plays out tomorrow. I think, honestly, with the action that we're seeing here in the bond market, with the sell-off of the high yield, you know what high yield is now, with the buying of credit-worthy debt by, your guess is as good as mine. I think it's the Fed, like I said, colluding with other banks. They're afraid. There is no doubt. Why are they afraid? Because the same guy, Bill Gross, said that the debt market was a supernova waiting to go off several months ago. Maybe it was even last year. And that's where the fear lies, because at one point there's going to be a panic selling across all of the entire bond market. Because look, these credit-worthy, listen to what I'm about to say, if you take anything away from this entire video. The credit-worthy debt, okay, like we're seeing get bought up right now, it's worthless. It can never be paid back. But it's credit-worthy. I want you to think about that as you ponder everything I just went over. All right, I'm going to let you all go. I cannot wait again for tomorrow morning to talk about all this, because it's going to be, well, you fill in the blank. See you tomorrow.